Come along as we sail the Danube with VIVA Cruises on our first European river cruise. Tour the ship, see our cabin, and walk the historic streets of Budapest, Vienna, Bratislava, and more. Watch as we transit narrow locks, bike to a medieval castle, savor delicious food, and experience this incredible part of the world. Day 6 starts now.
Good morning from Salzburg, Austria. We took a coach bus from Linz this morning. It took about 2 hours to get here, and we're going to do a city tour with some free time to explore Salzburg afterward.
And we're also going to enjoy a traditional Austrian lunch.
Our walking tour began with our guide giving us a quick rundown of Salzburg's layout before heading to the Cajetaneplatz, a pedestrian precinct lined with shops, and the Cajetanekirche, a Roman Catholic church built in the 1600s.
Our guide then pointed out a gold plate in the sidewalk and explained its meaning.
A German artist started this, more than 20 years ago, and the idea was to honor the victims of National Socialism, not to forget them, all over Europe. That's the point, not just in Germany.
Oh, really?
And each stumbling block you find in Salzburg or in many other European towns, they're dedicated to one person. Yeah? And they always put the stumbling block in front of an address or a house where this person lived last. Yeah? Not a concentration camp, not a prison, no, the last apartment, which was voluntarily chosen. Okay?
Next, we walked the old town squares surrounding the Salzburg Cathedral, the Baroque-style 17th century church. The squares host large events, including a Christmas market during Advent.
Oversized chess pieces, the Sphera, a large sculpture, and the 17th century horse pond fountain attract tourists and history buffs alike.
Our tour continued and brought us to one of the highlights of visiting Salzburg. Salzburg is famous for two things: the sound of music and the birthplace of Mozart. The yellow building behind me is where he was born. Today, it's a museum where you can see his childhood instruments and even a lock of his hair.
After our moment with Mozart, we made our way back through the winding streets and cobblestone squares to St. Peter for lunch, a restaurant within the walls of St. Peter's Abbey that has a large claim to fame.
We have sat down for lunch at St. Peter. Our guide said this is the oldest restaurant in Europe, but I think every country claims to have the oldest restaurant in Europe. However, this one's a good contender. It says it opened in 803.
First course is creamy vegetable soup. I'm enjoying my meal with a Stiegel Goldbrau, or Brü. I can't speak German.
For our main course, we have Wiener Schnitzel with some potatoes. St. Peter's menu includes classic Austrian dishes, steak and fish entrees, cocktails, and desserts. The restaurant has 11 rooms and can sit 547 indoor guests.
For our dessert course, we have Apfelstrudel, apple strudel.
I think they know. Follow me up.
Good. You're Yannick?
I don't have room for a pretzel now. See you next.
Okay, darn it.
There's always room for a pretzel.
The pretzels I like.
Even if they're as big as your face.
After lunch, we had free time to explore on our own, so we started a walk to the Hohensalzburg Fortress.
You can hike up if you're feeling ambitious, or take the funicular. Fun fact, the fortress has never been conquered. Not bad for a place that's 900 years old.
Why do we always do the thing that requires a lot of climbing?
Because we love the best views.
There's Kelly walking past the gate again, just for the perfect shot. We don't quite have time to make it all the way up to the fortress, so we're heading back down to the main square and going to try to find some special Austrian treats.
Probably the most famous little treat you can get in Salzburg is the Mozartkugel, which is this chocolatey ball full of goodness. You can see it behind me. There's pistachio and marzipan and nougat, and then it's covered in dark chocolate. So we're gonna go into one of the original, authentic Mozartkugel shops to buy some. Getting the original, the legit, genuine ones.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take them.
Okay, like this? Yeah, perfect.
Danke.
Dankeschön.
We couldn't pass up another classic Austrian treat, the pretzel. I am a huge fan of soft pretzels. This will be my first on the trip. Hopefully it won't be the last. It comes in a wide variety of flavors. We're going to get the poppy pretzel.
First bites. What are your first thoughts?
It's a lot sweeter than I thought it would be. I'm always expecting the pretzel to be that like a really
Savory?
savory. A really savory flavor.
I want to try.
So you guys got a traditional Salzburger pretzel here, and you're eating it right outside the birthplace of Mozart, the favorite son of the city. Is this the perfect day, you'd say, in Salzburg?
This is classic Salzburg day. You know what, actually? We also have our Mozartkugel with us.
Oh yeah, our dark chocolate covered marzipan pistachio
Nougat, something.
Mozartkugel. Take away the rain and it would definitely be perfect. We had time for one last stop, St. Peter's Cemetery, one of the most peaceful and underrated spots in the city.
This is the most beautiful cemetery I've ever been to. It's so serene, flowers are beautiful, it's just gorgeous and quiet and absolutely lovely. I have really enjoyed our time in Salzburg, but we have to get back to our meeting point, hop on our coach, and head back to Linz. Right after we got back from our excursion, it was almost time for dinner, so we quickly changed clothes and had a drink at the bar. Now we are in Riverside Restaurant for dinner.
And we just wanted to say that the food this week has been fantastic. The portion sizes are great, and there's an impressive variety of food across all three restaurants.
We are going to just enjoy our dinner on our own now and the rest of our evening on our own. So thank you for joining us today, and we will see you tomorrow.